Welcome to Too Many Tabs, a podcast. A podcast where a husband and wife sit across from each other at a table. That table never changes, but the setup around them always does. Sometimes the world is worse. Sometimes it's better. Sometimes we're sick. Sometimes we're healthy. But all of the time, we're opening and closing tabs in our lives. And those tabs, they become overwhelming. And sometimes they're full of lore. And sometimes those tabs are full of laughter. And sometimes they're full of joy. But this week, the tabs are full of...
information I researched.
Information she researched. Because that information has been researched right here on our podcast, Too Many Tabs.
Too many frauds and too many scammers that we wish weren't real. Too many cons and too many spammers, and we're starting to feel like we've got too many tabs open. It's too many tabs. Remember to smile.
Oh, that button, the air horn was off.
Oh no!
I've moved things around.
Stop moving things around.
I keep moving things
God
around.
damn it.
I've been supposed to move this office around.
Well, that's not
This
happening.
whole thing was supposed to be, we were supposed to be in a completely different room.
Yeah, we were gonna switch
We weren't
some
even
things up
supposed to be
the
in
house.
here. Also, I'm realizing now I moved the camera
Yeah,
over this side, but you're over here.
yeah,
So now it's just a whole podcast. So the people watching me on YouTube,
yeah.
I am just in profile. So to everybody here in YouTube land watching us,
You don't have to look at me.
I feel like
You
I
don't
do.
have to. Look at the camera.
No.
Do it for the people.
I want to let you know something.
Yeah.
Okay. I watched Elmo with the baby,
Yeah, of course.
and you know what? And they had a whole thing about you listen not only with your eyes,
And your ears? Yeah.
and your body.
Yeah, you listen to your body.
The whole thing. Actually, I yelled at my mom about that the other day. I did. No, I was with my parents, and I was telling my mom something very important. And I don't know if anybody else who has boomer parents. Magistra, she's a lovely lady. Magistra's a wonderful lady.
One of the best.
One of the best.
Yeah.
And it was something very important to me about our kid.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, I would like you very much to, and she was like, blah, blah, blah. And she was already on the next thing. And I stopped and I said, look at me. And she looked, I said, we listen with not just our ears, but also with our eyes.
Yeah.
And then I said it again. And I was like, now repeat it back. And she was like, okay. And you know what? You
Yeah.
know what she did?
The thing you asked?
Exactly.
Nice.
So
Look at you, gentle parenting your mom.
it wasn't gentle. I am slowly. We watched Night Bitch, and ever since then, I'm like just been starting to just like whistle at people.
Listen, we didn't finish it.
We didn't finish it.
And that's on me because I read the book Night Bitch.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2
It's
years
an Amy
ago.
Adams movie that's now on Hulu.
Yeah, it's on Hulu. I read the book 2 years ago, and I liked the book, but I didn't. As we were watching the show, I was like, it's not as entertaining as the book was.
Yeah,
And the thing about me is, I'm a DNF. If I don't like something, I'm not wasting my time. I turned it off and I went and did something else.
yeah, I'm gonna say I did not enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
I understood what could be good about it,
Yeah.
but for me, the part that was upsetting is it's a mom who's at home with a young kid, and the husband keeps leaving for
Yeah.
his job, and the whole time I was like, yeah, but maybe he's booked in Austin, Texas. Okay, maybe he has to go to VidCon in the Democratic National Convention, and maybe she agreed that this is what they were planning on doing when
Yeah.
they both thought that this would be easier.
Yeah.
And so the movie felt like a personal attack.
Meanwhile, I was just like, it's not as entertaining as the book.
Yeah, you're like, sounds good as the book. And then
Click.
then you reminded me like what, because you told me about the book before, and you reminded me about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I did hate it. Like
Yeah.
even you describing it to me, I hated it.
Yeah, I was like, you don't like it.
But also, it would not even be.
And
a
then
book.
I literally went and did the dishes. Doing the dishes seemed more fun than watching the end of that Amy Adams movie.
Yeah, and also we even discussed whether or not we could even go back to make it as a book club episode. And you're like, I don't want to do that.
No, because you already told you the book. That was before book club when I would just finish a book, close it, and go, guess what? Everything I just read
Yeah.
was. Wait, do you want to get this episode started?
Well, we had a couple announcements.
What are they?
Like
I don't know.
Well, number one, to all the YouTube listeners out there, check us out on podcast stream as well.
Yeah, this is an audio forward podcast.
It's an audio forward podcast, and we want to just remind everybody, because sometimes listeners also have said like, hey, you guys are showing each other something, we can't see it. We're not trying to pick sides, but
No.
we're
trying to accommodate everybody.
We're trying to accommodate everybody. We're trying to meet everybody where they are.
Yeah.
But for the YouTube listeners in general, this podcast might be a better option for you to just throw on your headphones, and that way you can walk the dog, drive wherever,
do the dishes when the movie isn't good.
Exactly, all those different things.
Or
Just wanna throw
if
that
you're
out there.
at work Listen to our podcast at work. Steal some equity from your bosses. That's
Yeah.
what I'm about.
Because honestly, let me tell you, when you're sitting in your cubicle, you know what you're doing? You're actually just trading a AI data model to take your job anyway.
So
what are you
might as well
going to
listen
do?
to our podcast.
Go back to looking at houses on Zillow you can't buy? What? That's what I did. That's how I spent my old job.
Yeah.
I would just sit there and be like, can't afford that.
Nope.
Can't afford. Who would live there?
Remember that mansion I showed you?
Oh my God, we got so mad
I
about
found
that.
a mansion on Zillow, and we both were like, if there was a $9 million mansion, why is it on Zillow?
Yeah.
Like, you need to protect yourself because now I'm in your living room.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. You don't want me looking in your living room.
Yeah. And now we did have a thing that we wanted to announce, that we wanted to mention on the warm up that we just recorded and posted.
Yeah.
On Wednesday.
All right.
People are listening to this on Sunday. But that we would talk about the new Vibing with the Food Moron.
Well, yeah. Okay, so 2 things. Number 1, we're going to record Vibing with the Food Moron this month. And I wanted to put up a suggestion post on Patreon about, like, what recipes do you want to hear? And remember, this is Vibing with the Food Moron. So, like, not a coq au vin, okay? I'm not going to try to explain to Alex how to make, a crazy rack of lamb, right? It's basic recipes that I want to explain to him how to make. Because, again, he doesn't know how to cook anything but macaroni and cheese that comes in a cup, pre-made.
3.5 minutes, you add water to the line.
See? Told you. That's all he knows.
Yep.
So,
and when you add the cheese mix, you should stir it a little bit and let it sit.
Yeah.
Don't go right into it.
You gotta let it sit.
You gotta let it sit.
Let it rest.
Let it congeal. Yeah, let it rest.
That's what
yeah,
they say.
I learned that term in the last episode of Vibing Out with the Food Moron, which was about cookies.
Yeah, it was about chocolate chip cookies.
And they've been we did deviled eggs, we did chocolate chip cookies. Those were both really themed around the holidays.
The holiday stuff.
We're here in January. There isn't a.
I mean, I was thinking something about, like, making a really good salad because a lot of people are gonna start their health wellness journey stuff.
No.
But
I think it should be something starchy. For me, winter, we're trying to pack on pounds. Okay. I'm trying to, because listen, nobody wants a skinny motherfucker. And it's January right now.
You need somebody to snuggle cuddle.
Y'all, it is 20 degrees
We gotta
outside.
keep each other warm.
Yeah, I want cushion. All right, I want jiggle. I want full.
Yeah.
Okay, you come at me with a kale salad.
Yeah.
I'll kill you. I'll shoot you in the face.
Also, you just hate kale.
I just don't I don't want leafy.
We are going to put a post up on Patreon for everybody's suggestions and ideas of recipes that they would like to hear me explain to Alex.
Yep.
With the general caveat being, like, a simpler recipe.
Yeah.
Like the idea of, like, cookies.
We keep trying to keep them to 20 minutes, and then
Yeah.
I keep making them 50.
That's fine.
So if they're complicated, they're going to be 4 hours long.
Yeah, and I'm just not going to do anything too
Yeah.
complicated.
But we're thinking about basic staples here that y'all would also maybe like a little bit of insight
Yeah,
into.
maybe you don't know how to make something that you think is a basic or simple, but maybe it just seems a little bit too much of a lift. And so I'd be happy to
like
explain
garlic grilled cheese.
Garlic grilled cheese. That sounds delicious.
Yeah. Do you know how to make that?
I mean, I could figure it out. You're just talking about, like, garlic bread that's used to make a grilled cheese?
I don't know. I used to have a guy who used to come over to my house in college, and he would make garlic grilled cheese, and it was really good.
Yeah.
But also, I was in college.
Yeah, so I'm thinking he used Texas toast and just put cheese in it.
It might be.
That's what it sounds like he did.
I don't know what he did.
Okay.
All I know is he was always about 4 hours later than he was supposed to be, and then he wanted to make sure that we had cash.
Yeah. So, I mean, he sounds like an upright citizen.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a pharmacist.
Yeah.
So pharmacy major. So it was college.
But yeah, so that's going to be going up on the Patreon for
End of the month.
And well, no, it'll go up after this episode post because we need to record the Food Moron before the end of the month.
No, I know. That's what I mean. The Food Moron episode is going to go. But listen, this intro is already far too long.
We're fine.
I know. No, I'm announcing to them that we're ending to the peoples.
Oh, okay.
To the peoples out there, to everyone listening, to all the Pearl Maniacs. The intro is now done. We are going to now begin the episode.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Pearlmania has promised me a wild ride of things that I am not ready to expect, expect, or believe.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I'm going to go ahead and call this our wildest episode
No,
ever recorded.
don't.
I am going to say
we don't
that
even-
from here on out, you're about to be hit with the greatest research.
Oh, no.
And everything from here forward is 100% accurate.
No.
And is so powerful.
Oh, my God.
So are y'all ready? I'm ready. Y'all ready for this? Banana.
You ready to go?
I've
You don't even know what the topic is.
I've never been more ready in all my life.
Because this is going to be the best episode. And honestly, I don't like that the bar is so high.
I love that the bar is high because
so-
I have faith in you to make the jump.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. The episode today is actually going to be about Goodwill.
Goodwill?
Yeah, the thrift store.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're Goodwill hunting.
Yeah, we're Goodwill hunting right now.
Oh,
So
okay.
here's what happened.
Okay, what happened was
I went to Goodwill, right before the sickness became me.
we can just say mid-December.
And I was looking through the Goodwill, as I do, and I found a shirt that was a Target Mossimo shirt. And that's like from 2008. Like they don't even make that brand anymore.
Yeah, I loved Massimo from Target.
Yeah.
That was their old imprint. It was like the
Exactly.
Target in-house thing, and they changed. I don't know why they changed it.
They changed it, but it was a Mossimo t-shirt that looked like it had been worn 100 times and washed 150 times.
Yeah.
Like worn out. And it was priced at $15. And I said, that's more than when that thing was fucking sold.
Yeah.
And the cost of a Mossimo t-shirt secondhand has not appreciated.
Yeah.
It has depreciated.
Yeah.
And I got really upset. And like this is a thing I've been seeing online as well, is a lot of people have been getting really upset because all the Goodwills are pumping their prices really high.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is all your inventory is free.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you're getting, someone put out back for free and you didn't even wash it.
And oftentimes you complained about it.
Yes.
Because I can't tell you how often I've pulled up to a Goodwill with a giant sign that says not a dump.
Yeah.
Don't leave here unless person.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm gonna.
Yeah, everyone does. Yeah, and they'll have a big sign like, you're on camera. Like, oh yeah, sorry for your free inventory, dicks.
Yeah. Your free inventory is going right here.
And like, I understand. Yeah, I understand the people who were there, and it is rude.
But
and
okay, but I just drove all the way over here with 3 garbage bags and a baby stroller that doesn't fit the baby anymore. So you're going to take it.
Yeah.
And there's always somebody out there anyway.
Yeah. I will say, can I say something? That is a good wrap up of our entire marriage.
Yeah.
And then we can end our marriage.
Okay, great.
When we first started dating, there was, you were really into thrifting.
Still am.
You still are.
Yeah.
But it was 2012.
Yep.
And thrifting was becoming popular.
Oh,
like
so annoying.
It was that there was that song.
Yeah.
Remember by the guy Macklemore?
Macklemore really.
I'm
fucked
gonna
us
pop
up.
some bam. Yeah, the thrift shop song.
Yeah.
That was everywhere.
Yeah.
And Buffalo Exchange started popping up, and we were in a very hip neighborhood. And then before you knew it, like everybody was like thrifting, and it was becoming a thing.
Yeah.
And then pop resellers and all this different stuff started happening. And I looked at you back then, and I'm like, we don't need to go to a thrift store. And you're like, yeah, but I like getting certain things here, and it's fun to do the hunt. I'm like, yeah. But I'm also really concerned about how many people who don't need to go to the thrift store are going to thrift stores now, because you know what poor people can really deal with? And you're like, what? I'm like, inflation of thrifted goods.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just drove me insane. And that was 13 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're absolutely right. What happened is...
Oh, wait. I'm going to capture that.
Okay.
Can you say it again?
Nope, I don't know.
How do I snip?
You can't.
How do I...
We're live recording. You can't snip anything.
No, listen.
You'll have to go back and do it later. Did you write down the time code?
Oh, I should.
Did
What
you
is
write
it?
down the time code?
13 minutes and 30. All right, I'm going to go about 13 minutes and 25 seconds in. Mrs. Pearlmania said that I'm absolutely right. And I have it on fucking tape. I already called it.
I thought you just said we were getting a divorce. What's that going to be useful for?
No, hold on. It's going to be useful in the divorce.
In the court.
In court, I'm going to show it to the judge, and the judge will be like, never been heard of before.
Never.
But also, I just want to say, I called this episode like a home run before it even started.
Yeah.
Didn't even know the topic. What'd I say? Greatest episode of all time. Most chaotic of all time. What has happened? We've already hit a home run. We're only 13 minutes in. We're already 13 minutes in. Y'all.
End the episode. It's done.
You know what? I just want to thank our sponsors. All of them.
Who's our sponsor today?
ZocDoc.
Nice.
You guys will hear more about him.
So you're right, because there were apps and websites like Poshmark and stuff with people started reselling bulk from thrift stores.
Yep.
So they would go in and buy anything and everything they could grab. And
anything good.
Anything that looked good or clean, they would take. And so then they would, double the price online. And it really did cause thrift store inflation, which I understand. And I can still be mad about it because they're still getting the inventory for free. And so what happened was I was upset about it. And as the NyQuil was wearing off, I decided to go down a hole of the internet to try to figure out some stuff about this Goodwill situation.
Okay.
And so I want to tell you about Goodwill.
Okay.
And what I found,
Okay.
basically. So there's this guy, Reverend Edgar Helms. He, in 1902, at the Morgan Methodist Chapel in Boston, started the first Goodwill.
Okay.
Yeah.
1902.
1902 was
Okay.
when the Reverend Helms started the first Goodwill in Boston.
Reverend Ed Helms.
Yep, Edgar.
Ed
Pardon me.
Helms. From The Hangover.
So Helms and his congregation used to collect used and discarded household goods and clothing from wealthier areas of the city, which Edgar gets it, because I always used to go out to the nicer neighborhoods.
You
to go
still
thrift.
do.
I know, you're right, I do.
You do it now through Facebook Marketplace.
That's true. I geolocate through Facebook Marketplace.
You do. I know. It's the most lunatic. Dude, it's the smartest thing I've ever seen is what Mrs. P does is she goes on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
She drops her pin. I wish we had a VPN sponsor because goddamn, I'd be using it right now.
Yeah.
But because you actually, back in the day, you said the same thing about thrifting.
Yeah.
When we would come out, you were always excited whenever we come out to my parents' house
Once
from
we were
the
in the
city,
suburbs, I was like,
because you were like,
let's
oh,
go,
they're going to have a
baby.
whole different class
Let's
of
go,
stuff.
baby.
And yeah, it's the same thing.
Exactly.
That's
So,
how you got them caraway pots.
Oh, caraway pots on Facebook Marketplace. Baby.
Yeah, for mad cheap.
Yo. And so this is what they would do. They would go out to the wealthier areas of the city and the suburbs and get the used and discarded items and then bring them back to Boston City Central. And the congregation trained and hired unemployed and impoverished people to mend and repair them. Can I tell you I highlighted that? Mend and repair. Goodwill, you have fallen so fucking far.
Yeah.
Mend and repair. I saw a CD disc player, a disc man with the top ripped off. It was just the bottom part. Had a tag on it, $6.99. The fuck am I gonna do with a CD player got no top?
Well, I can tell you what you can do. You can make a series of DIY sketches with your friends where you're a robot man living in the 90s.
Okay. They don't clean the clothes.
No.
They don't mend the clothes. There's so many household items that are fucking broken in Goodwill right now.
Yeah.
And we'll get into why. But as soon as I read this is the opening sentence of
That they mend and repair.
That they mend and repair and hired unemployed and impoverished people to mend and repair and then sell. Oftentimes they didn't sell, though. The products were redistributed to those in need. They would fix them, repair them, and then give them away for free.
Because it was a church.
Yeah.
And they were doing the work of the Lord.
Yeah.
And they were actually following the Bible.
Yeah,
of
they-
like actually trying to
They
help
were like
needy
trying
people.
to help people.
Yeah, helping needy people.
I don't know about that anymore. I don't think that's what
We should
churches-
invade Panama.
So in
They did that around 1902 as well. So I mean, we're bringing it all back.
In 1915, Helms hosted a visit at the Morgan Memorial by representatives of a workshop mission in Brooklyn, New York, to teach them about the innovative program and how they operated their Goodwill. And they decided that they were going to work together and change the name to Goodwill Industries instead of what it was currently called the Morgan Memorial Cooperative Industries and Stores Incorporated.
Yeah, okay. So they were like, we're gonna take one of these old timey Goodwill Morgan and Sons type of thing.
Yeah,
and
they're
we're
like,
gonna make
call
it
Goodwill Industries.
Yeah. And now, just so real quick, now if this was in 2012, sorry, 2020. Wait, what
It's
year?
2025.
Okay. If it was in 2000, they would have changed their name to GI.
Yeah, GI.
Right? It would just be GI. But or if it was even more modern, they would be like Gigoga.
Yeah.
Because you have to just be some word that makes no sense.
It would be a sparkle emoji.
I'm on hee hoo ha ha.
AI sparkle emoji.
Yeah.
So currently, Goodwill Industries International is based in Maryland, right outside of DC in Rockville. The Goodwill Enterprise is a network of more than 150 community-based autonomous organizations in the United States, Canada, and several other countries, including Brazil, Finland, Italy, and more. They're all over the world.
Okay.
And so this is an important thing to understand, that they are autonomous. So the Goodwill of San Francisco is not working with the Goodwill in Salt Lake City. Okay. So there is a guy at the top. There is a CEO who oversees all of them.
But he just oversees what, the branding?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, okay.
But so the brand of Goodwill International, but the local Goodwills are run by their local autonomous community team.
Or organizations.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So are they then franchises?
It's very similar to a franchise
Okay.
because it's
Do they
like,
pay the corporate?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not gonna say it looks like a pyramid, but it is a triangle. For
Well, I mean,
sure.
there's a hierarchical
There's
structure.
a hierarchical structure.
Okay.
And there are CEOs. Like there's a Los Angeles CEO. There's a Philadelphia CEO. But then there's the big CEO guy.
Yeah.
Right. So just that's important to understand that they're all each running their own joint.
Okay.
Okay. And that's important because each group knows, if you will, what their community needs. So like the Goodwill of, let's say, Tampa is going to do different things than the Goodwill of a city in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Right? Because the people in Nebraska might need warm clothes and education about farming. But the
people in Tampa are like, hey, what do we need? Well, we need more Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, exactly.
We need more Jimmy Buffett shirts. We need more Margaritaville. We also, what else we like? We like spring training baseball.
Not paying taxes.
Love not paying taxes.
Wrestlers.
We need
a lot of wrestlers.
We need
there.
the Panama Canal.
Spring training baseball.
We already said that one.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening. So
I am obsessed with the town because I saw you pull all. I could see you with my eyes pull them all off to the top of your head.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. You're like San Francisco. I'm like, now she's gonna say Philly, and you were like Utah, and I was like Salt Lake City. I was like, what? And then I'm like, okay, well, here she go again. You're like Tampa. I was like, all right, well, she does default to Tampa a lot. I'm like, now she's gonna say Philly, and then you were like Nebraska. Listen, I like how you didn't say Omaha, by the way.
I will.
You couldn't.
So
That's called foreshadowing. That's called foreshadowing.
So again, they're trying
greatest episode of all time
to meet the needs of local
we
communities.
might not even hold on. We might not even do the rest of this season. We might be 2 and done.
Just listen
for
to this
season
repeat.
3.
Just listen on repeat.
We'll just edit this one up. First edit is just me. You just saying he's right. He's right.
Absolutely right.
He's right. He's right.
Pardon me.
I'm giving you. Listen, I'm making noises so you can cough off.
Thank you.
I know you're so good.
What was I thinking of? Okay, so again, they're designing programs and services of people that live in them. I also went to the Goodwill's website and I pulled their mission statement. So, as someone who works in the nonprofit sector, your mission statement is everything. The board of directors will have 6 months of meetings to make any edit to one word of a mission statement.
Yep.
Okay, a mission statement is the most important fundamental thing to a nonprofit. Oh my God.
Yeah, and then your mission statement should say things like, "We will turn you into the FBI."
Yeah. No. Hey. Shh. So. Again, and I'm gonna talk a lot of shit on Goodwill eventually on this episode.
Yeah.
And I'm a consumer of Goodwill, and I understand they do a lot of good, and I do know that I'm also gonna talk shit on nonprofits. And again, I'm a nonprofit worker. I have been supporting nonprofits for decades. I understand the pros and cons, and you know that there's certain nonprofit things I hate. I fucking hate certain things about nonprofits, and I might scream them into the night today.
Yeah.
So the mission statement.
Anyone who's worked at nonprofits,
they know.
Like that's the thing. Okay, so hit it with this mission statement.
The mission statement. Goodwill works to enhance people's dignity and quality of life by strengthening their communities, eliminating their barriers to opportunity, and helping them reach their full potential through learning and the power of work.
The power of work.
The power of work.
Okay.
Okay. So last year, 4.3 billion pounds of goods were donated to Goodwill.
4.3 billion pounds?
Pounds in poundage.
Okay, not British pounds. We're talking about
blenders and shirts and pants. Pounds. 4.3 billion pounds of goods were donated to Goodwill.
Okay.
So again, free inventory.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. Now, 50% of those donations were sent overseas to developing countries and or landfills.
Okay.
And that 50% that got sent overseas or to the developing countries, they still made a $50 million profit off of that. Okay.
Okay.
So that's important, right? We're still making profit even when we're destabilizing the textile industry of a developing country, you know?
Yeah.
No, what are you pulling up right now?
I'm trying to figure out how many kilograms that is. And okay.
Oh no, he's trying to do math.
I'm trying to do math, but it didn't put commas in, and so as I'm looking at it, I'm like,
you can't do math on the greatest episode.
I know, but I'm trying because we have international listeners.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, and like a lot of them, I don't know if I typed in 4.3 billion correctly, Because how many zeros? Like, this is the thing is what I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
When they have a number that doesn't have the commas.
How about this? It's been like 20 minutes. You want to take a little break and you can do the math on our break?
Okay, yeah, you're right. Let's take a break.
Because I'm a podcaster.
You are a podcaster. Let's take a break. I'm going to figure out this math because I'm really stuck on this.
Yeah, I know.
And
Let's
then
take
you're
a little
talking about
break
the
and you do
outside.
the math.
You'll take a little breaky now. If you've caught that winter cold that's been going around, it's time to get yourself to a doctor. Booking a doctor's appointment can feel super daunting. Luckily, there's ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. Filter your search for doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, are a good fit for what ails you, and are highly rated by verified patients. I myself have used ZocDoc in the past to help me find a doctor. I was extremely happy with how easy it was to get everything set up and to just find somebody who was right down the street from me. Appointments made through ZocDoc happen fast, usually within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments and get things taken care of ASAP. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/tabs to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/TABS. ZocDoc.com/tabs. Okay, I did the math. It's 4.3 billion pounds is 1.95 billion kilograms.
Nice.
So almost 2 billion kilograms.
Yeah, of stuff.
I had a feeling it was close because it's 2.2 kilograms per pound.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just one of those ones. I'm not trying to use metric more, but I'm trying to keep metric in mind more often as we get disconnected from the rest of the world.
Communism. So the current CEO and president of Goodwill.
Okay.
His name is Steve Preston.
Okay.
I looked up Steve Preston. Wanted to know, who is this guy?
Who is Steve Preston?
What's he doing?
Yep.
He formerly served as the 22nd administrator of the U.S. Small Business Administration in 2006, and then was appointed the 14th Secretary of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development from 2008 to 2009.
So he was the small business administrator for George W. Bush.
Yes.
And then for
He
2
kept him.
years under Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, 2008 to 2009. Okay, no.
He kept him.
Okay, so he was a Bush appointee.
He's a Bush appointee.
Got it. George W.
He's
Bush
a lifelong
appointee.
Republican.
Okay,
I
got
looked
it.
it up.
Okay. I mean, I would assume so if he
Yeah.
made it there. Okay.
So, yeah. But again, housing and urban development. Okay. His current salary as CEO of and president of Goodwill is approximately $729,000 a year,
Okay.
plus bonuses, and he has an incredibly huge benefits package.
Okay.
So, approximation with all the benefits in the package, probably $1 million a year
Okay.
to run a nonprofit that gets free shirts.
Got it.
So point that out there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then again, me being a nonprofit girly, I was like, well, who's on the board?
Okay.
Right.
Who is-
So this is the kind of questions I always ask when I'm looking at a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Is like, who's the director? How much are they making?
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, having worked in a nonprofit and also donating time or volunteering at nonprofits, I want to make sure that I'm working with someone who is taking a salary that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like a CEO, they do have a difficult job sometimes in the nonprofit sector.
Yeah.
Right. I understand they need to make a decent amount of money. I get that. They have a very stressful fucking job. I hear you. So sure, you can make $100,000, $200,000 a year. Sure. Maybe a little more, whatever.
Yeah.
$1 million? I don't know. I don't know about $1 million.
Also, but the other thing too is you have to do fundraising.
Yeah, you have to do fundraising
So
development.
for all of these, how many hours have to be spent begging other people for money to pay this one person?
Yeah.
In the nonprofit world, especially.
And you have to look at everybody else's salaries as well.
Yeah.
So like if this is how much the CEO is making, what's everybody else's salary?
Yeah.
So like a nonprofit I worked at in the past, the CEO made $200,000 a year, which is public information. All nonprofit salaries are, as long as they're registered 401(c), their everybody's salary is public. So you can see what your boss's salary is if you work at a nonprofit. If you never knew that, you can go look it up. And then, so like if the CEO is making $200,000, but then the next baseline employee, salaried employee, is making 70,
Yeah.
Okay, that's not the craziest disparity I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the disparity we used to have.
Yeah,
Listen, you're talking about it. That's pre-Reagan disparity there.
Yeah, pre-Reagan disparity. So anyway, I went to look at the board of directors. So
Yeah.
again, if you're not accustomed to nonprofit world, the board of directors are usually volunteers that sit on a board that make the decisions for how the nonprofit's going to align themselves with their mission. Okay, they make hiring and firing decisions. They make decisions about where money is going to go. They help with the fundraising a lot. So and
typically you want them to be somewhat aligned, or at least in similar industries or communities as the people you're helping in these
like
cases.
I've shared before that the nonprofit that I work at is a law firm, right? And all of the people on the board are lawyers at other companies. Right. So again, they're in this idea. So when I think about a board of directors for a nonprofit, they are kind of like where you're getting, I don't want to say like your morals, but it's like, it's where.
No, it is. It's where the thought process is coming from.
They are the ones that really push a nonprofit forward because it's based on their decision making. When it comes to where the money goes. So like the people on the ground, the frontline workers, they're really going to be the face of the nonprofit. They're
the frontline workers are the hands. The board of directors are supposed to be the brain.
They're supposed to be the brain.
And
it's important for me personally to look at that. Because I want to know what the brain's thinking. So I went to Goodwill and I found their board of directors. And it took a minute, by the way. It took a minute. They have it kind of hidden, but I found it. Because I'm a detective. Now the president of not the president. I just pulled a few because all of them were weird, but
all of them were weird.
They were a little weird.
Okay, for Goodwill.
For Goodwill.
Okay.
So one of the ones I pulled was Craig Nunez. Now Craig Nunez is on the board of directors for Goodwill. He is the current president and COO of National Resource Partners. So I was like, National Resource Partners, what's that? That is the largest. One of the largest businesses that works in the sector of the oil industry.
Oh.
Natural Resources Partners.
Oh.
And I looked at his bio on their website, and it says, Craig Nunez' experience spans 5 continents and every sector of the oil industry. His previous roles included Senior Vice President and Treasurer of Halliburton.
Okay, so we have a George W. Bush CEO and a Halliburton VP who is also now just deep on oil.
Yeah.
And that's Goodwill. Okay.
On the board of directors.
Okay.
Again, just the mind.
Okay.
The mind of it. Okay, I found another one. Her name is Beverly Jackson. And she is the Vice President of Brand and Product Marketing at Zillow.
Oh.
At Zillow.
Oh, Zillow.
Zillow, which buys up houses.
And uses algorithms to then drive up those houses. And then also, okay.
Yeah. Also,
So hold on. So we have a George W. Bush CEO. And then we have Halliburton and for the oil and the Iraq war. And now we have the housing crisis.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
But also, I went and looked at her bio. I stopped by her LinkedIn real quick.
Yeah.
And it said that Beverly Jackson was most recently at Twitter, where she oversaw global consumer marketing and brand teams. And she previously held executive positions at Activision Blizzard and MGM Resorts.
Okay. I know to you, when you're listening to you're like Twitter bad, MGM casinos bad. For me, Activision Blizzard is such a red flag.
Yeah.
Because that is such an evil company who has done so much damage. Oh my God. Okay. This is like a rogues gallery. This is Flash villains. Okay.
And then I found Dale Jenkins.
Okay. Wait, this name seems familiar. I'm gonna go with he sells cigarettes to kids.
No.
Oh.
He currently works as I think it was like co-CEO of what's it, like a consulting firm that works with the worst companies in the world. Because before that he was the global partner in development at Walmart for like 30 years. He retired from Walmart and now he works as a consultant. Oh yeah. And this company that is the consultants for, he is the guy for their Walmart team.
I'm not wrong.
I know.
Like he sells cigarettes to kids.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Allegedly.
Yeah, thank you.
Gotcha,
was
Dale.
Gotcha.
Gotcha, Dale.
Allegedly.
No, but also like it's also retired. I forgot that's the other part too, because when I worked in companies and I had to do stuff with the board of directors, oftentimes they were near retirement or had recently been retired, because this is what they do with their with their experience.
Yeah.
And their fun. So okay, so so far you've listed to me like you haven't listed
Just three.
Just
There's
three.
way more than that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, and so
Are there any like church leaders in any of these?
I didn't find any.
Or is there anybody who is like cares about poor people?
Didn't find any. I pulled these three out of. I was just like looking at the list of board
Pulled some
directors,
randos.
and what I noticed with a lot of people on their board are CEOs of different Goodwill districts. So like the Goodwill of Manhattan,
Yeah.
or the New York City CEO
Oh,
on the board.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I thought that was weird because usually employees aren't allowed to be on the board. So I was trying to figure out how they navigate that.
Yeah.
But I also didn't want to fall down a hole of like just looking into that.
Well, yeah. There might be some sort of weird.
They might have some loophole.
Yeah.
But so a lot of people are just other employees of Goodwill on the board. So
Okay.
I went to people that weren't employees and I started pulling them.
Yeah.
And so that's just three. That's just a smattering of them. I just wanted to pull out three.
Okay.
Because again, this is where I was saying my tinfoil hat was coming in. I was like, this is fucking insane.
Yeah.
Why is one of the biggest nonprofits in the world, one of the nonprofits that is about providing consumers with low cost goods,
Yeah.
why is everybody behind it some of the worst people allegedly in the world?
Yeah. Hold on.
Hit that allegedly. Just based
Allegedly.
on where they worked.
Yeah, based on their past.
Yeah.
They don't have
Employment, not their past, just their employment history.
Yeah.
Their LinkedIn
they
pages.
They have villain resumes.
Yeah.
They have villain resumes.
I was just like, why are villain resumes running the Goodwill?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's pretty nuts.
So, okay, so we're talking about that's the board of directors, that's the CEO,
Yeah.
right? Staff. Most of the people that work at Goodwill in the stores, in the warehouses, blah, blah, they make minimum wage for their state. They are a minimum wage employer almost entirely across the United States of America.
Yeah.
There's some people like, managers that make a little bit above.
Yeah.
But across the board, whatever state you're in, that minimum wage, that's what you're getting paid.
Which means in Pennsylvania, it is what?
$7.25 an hour.
$7.25 an hour.
And so, like, that's the disparity that I'm talking about. It's like, if the person that's working the register at Goodwill is making $7.25 an hour, but the CEO...
They have to work 2 hours. No, they have to actually work 3 hours.
Yeah.
Because of taxes to be able to afford a dirty Massimo Target t-shirt at Goodwill.
Yeah. To buy from their employer.
Yeah.
And the CEO has $1 million package.
Yeah.
That's crazy disparity.
Yeah.
Like that. Nonprofits,
And
most
again,
of them
but also
work to alleviate disparity.
But the revenue is based on free.
The revenue is free.
Yeah.
That's my mind. When I tell you, I got so mad.
Yeah.
I got so mad. So.
Because again, too, this isn't a Salvation Army.
Yeah.
This isn't also one of these other type of
And I've got issues with Salvation
Listen,
Army.
we do.
Because
but I'm saying those
okay,
those
go
okay. Go
I
ahead.
was going to say is I do have issues with Salvation Army. They're hyper religious and they do some weird stuff for
Yes.
sure. However,
Yes.
I will say, part of my cough right now, is that when there is a crisis, oftentimes the Salvation Army shows up.
Yes.
So like I've worked on frontline crisis situations, and when I was like setting up tables, Salvation Army is there to help people. Salvation Army shows up in crisis situations.
Yes.
Goodwill does not.
Yes. Now, is Salvation Army also homophobic, transphobic,
Yes.
and have also a lot of religious
Yes.
crazy overtones? Yes, 100%. However, the other thing, though, is Salvation Army and a lot of these other places, they run their thrift stores as a way to their other missions.
Yeah, exactly.
Does
allegedly, that's
Does
happening.
Goodwill have another mission?
So the mission, I read you.
Yes.
The Goodwill stores are part of the mission.
Okay.
Right? So they're part of the mission. They provide jobs for people that need them. Right.
Minimum wage
I'm
jobs.
getting
Okay.
there. So they provide jobs for people that need them in air quotes.
Because they need salvation through work.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
The other thing that Goodwills also do is some of them, not all of them, because again, each one gets to decide what they're going to do. Some of them have schools. Some of them have like programs where you can go learn how to be a chef. Some
Okay.
of them have They're funding education. They're funding different programming in your local communities. So there are some Goodwills where like the money that's coming in, the revenue that's coming in from the store, from all these free goods, is being used to fund these schools and education centers and places that help people that are low income with job placement and job training and resume writing and learning English if they're not a native English speaker, stuff like that. So there are certain Goodwills that have these programs that are the funding is coming from the store.
Okay.
Okay, we'll get into that. I'll come back to that. We're jumping a little ahead of me.
Okay.
So, but again, the most people at Goodwill are making minimum wage that their state has issued.
Yeah.
Now, most people that work at Goodwill are veterans, people experiencing hardship, and people with disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I do want to point out that Goodwill has come out as their team of their communications team has come out against raising the minimum wage.
Goodwill has come out against raising the minimum wage.
Yeah. Their CEOs have made statements locally. They may or may not have lobbied different
states and Congress
that they don't think the minimum wage should be raised.
Goodwill.
The
thrift store.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pop some tags.
That pays minimum wage. They don't think we should raise minimum wage.
They think the minimum wage in Pennsylvania of $7.25 an hour.
Sharon Durbin, president and CEO of Lincoln Goodwill, a Springfield-based organization, runs 15 thrift stores, and she drew fire from state officials after she told workers employed under the vocational program for people with disabilities that they were all losing their jobs. She cited that the planned pay hike, which slated to climb the minimum wage up to $15, as the reason they were all being laid off. And again, as a nonprofit, this organization doesn't pay the same amount of taxes. They get, state funding. And also, I don't know if you know this, under federal rules, they don't have to pay disabled workers minimum wage.
What do you mean?
So there is this Fair Labor Act, in the Fair Labor Standards Act, I should say, there's a section 14C.
Okay.
And that portion of the act allows organizations to apply for a special certificate that allows them to pay a wage below minimum. And in 2013, NBC News actually did an investigation and found that many, over 69 Goodwill franchises across the country had such certificates, sometimes paying less than $1 an hour. NBC had to file a Freedom of Information request to find out just how much those workers were earning, and it uncovered that at 14 locations, workers were making as little as 23 cents an hour, the disabled workers.
Wow.
So again, the mission
is to
help disabled people have jobs and work.
Yeah.
And they're at this time paying less than $1 for this labor.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So I found a story of a person who used to work there.
Wait, real quick though.
Yeah.
You said that was from 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that they've tried to change any of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
So, but I did want to tell you this little anecdotal story.
Yeah.
So Sheila Leyland, a blind Goodwill employee in Great Falls, Montana, was earning $3.99 an hour. And that's fucking tough,
yeah.
Right? That's messed up. But when the nonprofit decided they were going to cut her salary to $2.75 an hour, she decided she had to quit. She was like, I want to be paid a living wage for work, for meaningful work.
Yeah.
She's been blind since birth, and she lives fully on disability payments. She's 58 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, quote, "It's not just me. All Goodwill employees deserve the same. They call themselves leaders in providing opportunity for the disabled, but since when did opportunity look like $0.25 an hour?"
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
But also the other thing too is that I know under federal labor laws that we actually suppress people who are on disability. They're not allowed to make over a certain amount of money.
Yes.
And I'm guessing Goodwill, since they've been saying that we shouldn't raise the minimum wage, they probably are also saying we shouldn't change that as well.
So I don't know the ins and out of SSDI and SSI, Social Security income. I do know that there are certain limitations to how much money you can have in the bank.
Yeah.
So like if you have too much savings, then you don't qualify for certain things.
Yeah.
And there's such a
It's like savings and assets as well,
Savings,
which is why like
yeah.
I know people who are disabled who like won't ever own a home because
Yeah.
they have to stay in rentals because the government will say, well, sell your house then.
yeah, exactly.
Like you need
We're
to
not
be
going to give you Medicaid.
yeah, you
Because it'll be like, oh, you get SSI, but you won't qualify for Medicaid. And
Yeah.
you need Medicaid to survive.
yeah.
It's really, when you boil it all down,
It's a trap.
it's a trap to keep disabled people in poverty.
Yeah.
Always. And so this is infuriating to no end. Like, I did not know this. And Leland's husband, actually, Harold, he also worked at Goodwill, and he was making $5.40 an hour, which, again, is not minimum wage. There was a petition on change.org that back then had gotten 150,000 signatures. The petition called on Goodwill to pay all of its workers at least minimum wage. So then NBC ran a television piece from Rock Center with Brian Williams. Remember those?
Yep.
And then also Salon and Huffington Post started reporting on this issue. And lots of organizations started getting eyes on the situation. And advocacy groups also started being like, yo, this is crazy that you pay people less than minimum wage, less than $1 in some places. So according to labor development documents dug up by NBC, Goodwill had paid workers in Pennsylvania as little as 22 cents, 38 cents, and 41 cents per hour. Now, Goodwill released a statement after all this, because again, everybody's doing stories about this now.
Yeah.
And Goodwill released a statement saying that those ultra low wages figures are distorted because sometimes workers run into emotional or physical issues and don't finish their shifts and then wait for a parent or caregiver to arrive. In those cases, the Goodwill must still count the total amount of time the worker stays on the job, which translates to abnormally low hourly wage. That's what they're saying.
So their claim is, hey, some of these people freak out, and then we have to call their parent or somebody, and while they have to sit there, we're not paying them.
I guess so. Or like if they're working an hour, we're only paying them for the 15 minutes they were working before the 45 where they freaked out.
But
maybe?
that would still be the hourly would still be the same.
Hey, whoa.
The math isn't mathin'.
Hey, whoa.
I'm just saying is like the
Listen to
math
me.
isn't math, and like you get paid on quarter hours typically everywhere I've ever worked.
Yeah.
And then the people that you're describing with the anecdotal evidence, they were talking about making $3.58 or whatever, or even less.
Yeah.
So like, I know that they're trying to be like, oh well, that one extreme, like they probably have a list of like 300.
Yeah.
And then one of them said 23 cents. Like, well, no, we have an explanation for that one.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, gaslighter.
Okay.
Which that helps. That one guy was with Halliburton.
Yeah,
he knows how to
exactly.
gaslight.
Whoa. And he can get the gas fuel from our oil guy.
Yep, exactly.
So since this information was outed by NBC, most Goodwill branches have divested themselves from these certificates from the Labor Act
Yeah.
I told you about.
Stop doing stuff that's traceable.
Oh, well, a provision in the Fair Labor Standard Act of 1938 gives employers. Oh wait, I already read that part. Oh man. What was it I wanted right here? Disabled employees had to take time tests to see how quickly they could sort and hang racks of clothes. The garments must be facing to the left and top buttons fastened and separated into men's, women's, and children's sections. Goodwill wants workers to be able to hang 100 garments with no errors in 32 minutes. Quote, we can't do it that quickly because we can't look at a garment and see the size. This is Leland talking because she's blind.
Yeah.
She says about her experience and her husband's. Depending on how slow the employee works, Goodwill lowers the hourly wage. So she had been making the $3. And then she got tested because, again, these tests are required because disabled employees are evaluated every 6 months on productivity. So every 6 months they have to redo this test. And if their productivity changes, their salary can be lowered. So she was making $3 an hour, and then she did this test, and they're like, well, we're only going to pay you $2.75 an hour because you made too many mistakes putting shirts on hangers.
And she's like, I can't see. I'm blind.
I'm blind. And you're, okay. Also, every 6 months is crazy.
Yeah.
That CEO, I'm sure, only gets a yearly review from the board of directors.
Yeah, so you're getting a biannual review. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That can change how much you get paid hourly.
Okay.
Oh, I think, here we go. The estimated base salary, I did write this down, of the CEOs and top managers at the Goodwills, I think came out to about $430,000
Each?
Yeah.
So that's the average across all
that's
these
the average. So
located.
some got a little bit lower, some were higher.
Yeah.
But around 400,000.
Which is basically like each regional director almost.
Exactly.
Okay.
Totaling more than $30 million in salaries. But, you know, she couldn't put the shirt in the hanger fast enough. Let's see. The Goodwill has come out and been like, guys, it's not that bad. We're not really doing that. But here's the thing. Goodwill actively lobbied for years against proposals to repeal or alter Section 14C of the Act.
Yeah.
So this is something I forgot to write down. When I was looking at their staff, so the staff that works under that CEO, they have a lot of staff. Like, you're
talking about the top level CEO.
The top level CEOs, the executive suite, if you will.
Yeah.
They had a liaison to the federal government as one of the jobs.
Yeah.
And so they have a lobbyist. Goodwill has a fucking lobbyist.
Of course they do.
That was saying, don't raise minimum wage and don't get rid of Section 14C.
Yeah, and you know what? They're not paying him $7.25 an hour.
Yeah. So, again, the mission statement, I'm going to read it to you again. Okay. Goodwill works to enhance people's dignity and quality of life by strengthening their communities, eliminating their barriers to opportunity, and helping them reach their full potential through learning and power of work.
Yeah, they're really leaning on the end part there. They're really leaning on the power of work.
The power of work.
The whole barriers, dignity, all that shit, that's out of there.
No. On December 3rd, 2024, that wasn't that long ago.
Nope.
The Biden-Harris administration proposed a rule that would do the following. Number one, cease the department's issuance of new Section 14C certificates starting on the effective date of the final rule. 2, institute a 3-year period beginning on the effective date of a final rule for employers holding existing Section 14C certificates to gradually cease paying sub-minimum wage to workers with disabilities, effectively phasing out Section 14C.
And I want to point out that was after the election.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that's they just proposed it?
Yeah.
It didn't change though.
Not yet. It goes up, I think January 17th, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it goes up for approval on January 17th.
With where?
With the Labor Department.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
that'll then change.
Yeah, but if it goes through, it's still
lock in. Okay.
It will lock in.
Well, let's
Fingers
cross fingers. But we might just invade Panama.
Do you want to take a little break?
Yeah, let's just take a break because we got to invade Panama and Greenland.
We're not invading Panama and
I
Greenland.
need to stress on how we are definitely invading Panama.
We're not going.
We
too many
might not be.
mosquitoes. There's too many mosquitoes. I'm not going.
Okay, you might not be going.
But you keep saying we're doing it.
Yeah, we,
I'm not
as
doing
in
it.
the nation of America.
Oh, well.
Okay, the American military. We'll be right back.
We're back, baby. Did you go feed the dog? Yeah.
Yeah, I fed the dog.
Have I had a couple lozenges?
Yeah.
Yup.
Did my dad say the baby had a poop explosion? Yup. I was like, how's everything? He was like, we had a little bit of a poop explosion down here. And I was like, haha, not me.
Not me.
Beep, beep, beep. Oh, wait, hold on. I have a button for that.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So, you listed out all the horrors of 14C.
That was only some of the horrors.
No, I didn't say of 14C.
Yeah, about the labor, the Labor Act
and how we treat disabled people, and how Goodwill specifically
really
took advantage of that.
Yeah, because one thing I know about Goodwill, I've always known because of their marketing, because of their branding, is that their whole thing is that they help disabled people.
Yeah. They help them get jobs.
Yeah, they help them get jobs, and they are like, but they also help them with job training and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's what I've always thought. And again, that's their marketing, their propaganda.
Well, the claim is, and like the same as a lot of these things, the same way when people talk about minimum wage jobs, where, oh no, these are supposed to be temporary jobs. Yeah. These are stepping stone jobs.
Yeah.
You know, flipping burgers, that's for teenagers. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, babies. That was for teenagers to fill in the summer while the real workers took their vacations they could afford.
Yeah.
Because you used to be able to live on working at McDonald's.
Yeah.
You were never supposed to be a wage slave.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's
Listen, let me
happening
get
in this
on my
situation.
fucking oh my god, I forgot to tell you this. This is
Oh.
a crazy nonprofit insider knowledge.
Sure.
Okay, so this nonprofit I used to work for years ago. I've talked about it on the pod before.
Yeah.
And I couldn't say too much because I had to sign an NDA when I worked there that was still effective when I left.
Yeah.
But they recently went bankrupt and closed. So I feel like that NDA doesn't even stand, right? Like if
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
out of
yeah.
business, they can't get me. And they got no money to sue me because they went bankrupt because their CEO fucked up the money. They got like a multi-million-dollar grant and it accidentally disappeared. Skedio. So, but that nonprofit I worked at, right?
Yep.
That went under due to financial mismanagement.
This is the one where you worked at the call center, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
when I worked at the
I
call
remember
center.
this one. I remember this one.
That was a great one. 10 out of 10. So that job, what I did was I worked at this call center and all day, every day, I helped people fill out the paperwork to apply for benefits.
Yeah.
Right? So people would call in and they'd say, listen, I think I qualify for food stamps. The paperwork's pretty difficult. And then I would help them fill it out over the phone. And then the computer that I had would I'm sure what we call an algorithm. It would be like, hey, just so you know, you qualify for $100 in food stamps. You also qualify for LIHEAP and potentially rent assistance, right?
Yeah.
And I would tell them, and I'd be like, hey, I can fill out this paperwork too and submit the apps for you. Do you want me to do that? And so this sounds a lot easier than it was because a lot of times what I had to do was outbound calls. And I don't know if anybody's ever worked in a call center that had to do an outbound call. The hell I went through of me calling people and being like, hey, just so you know, you qualify for free food. And then they'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah. I don't want no handout.
Yeah. Oh my God. The way people hated me for offering them heating assistance. You'd
Yeah.
think I was the devil.
Yeah.
So that company, though, one of our biggest financial supporters, the person that donated the most fucking money to our program was fucking Walmart.
Yep.
And I have yelled about this before, but when I found that out, I almost flipped my fucking cubicle.
To the point where they were actually putting y'all's cards in the welcome packages.
Yes.
Because Walmart has gone out of their way, along with a lot of other major retailers,
Yeah.
to keep minimum wage suppressed.
So when you get a job at Walmart,
Yep.
you would get your welcome to work packet, and in there would be our phone number because they knew they didn't pay you enough. You would need to call us to get food stamps.
Yep.
And so,
And depending
also
on your
called SNAP.
Yeah, and depending on your family situation, your living
Yeah.
situation, that was the one thing. The one thing that where the basis of this org, because you and I talked about it a bunch.
Yeah.
And what the selling point to you on it was, which did make sense and
Yeah.
does make sense. If you can get, if you are a benefit of needing heating assistance, you probably do need food stamps.
Yes.
And the thing is by making sure that you sign up as a person in need to all the programs that you have available to you, that actually saves the state money in the long run.
Yes.
Because if you need food stamps, but you can't afford your heat, then your pipes are going to burst, and then that's going to run down the property values, and then suddenly the state's going to get the area's going to less property taxes, yada yada yada. It goes. There's a trickle down effect.
Yep.
So if everyone is actually taking advantage of the programs that they can get,
Yep.
then that's great. It
Yeah.
actually works out, and it actually makes everybody on those programs do better.
Yeah.
However, Walmart was like, haha, we don't have to pay people shit.
Yeah.
We
but
can
no,
subsidize.
this is the thing that would upset me.
Yeah.
Is Walmart, through their funding of this nonprofit, paid me a living wage, technically.
Yeah.
They paid me just
barely.
20 cents below the qualifier for food stamps. So they made sure that we couldn't apply for SNAP benefits. So I think it was like, what, $13 an hour or something?
Yeah.
It was like $13 an hour I made. So Walmart was willing to pay me $13 an hour, but not their employees at the Walmart store, so that I could help their employees get SNAP benefits.
Pay 100 people $13, and
Yeah.
then those 100 people can help 10,000 people qualify for government assistance.
Yeah.
So Walmart doesn't have to pay them.
And then they would get money back.
Yeah, because they get a write-off.
They get a write-off.
Because they're giving money to a nonprofit.
Oh my God. When
Yeah.
I found this out,
I remember the day.
I think I screamed during my exit interview about it.
Yeah. I remember the day. I remember you coming in and being like, that fucking place. And because you had gotten a friend, you were working there with a friend of ours and a few other things, and you were explaining to me the one day, and I was just like, yeah, man, it seems pretty fucked up. I don't know. I just got a job at a shoe store. Because you were out here like, well, I finally convinced you to leave the restaurant industry, and then you were starting to like try to find office jobs, and that was the whole point of that job for you, was to like have office experience.
And I think it's important because, again, I said I was going to shit on nonprofits a bit in this episode, and I have, and I will forever. But there is a lot of pros to the cons, and one of the pros is that in the private sector, to get certain jobs and experience, they call them internships, and they're unpaid. Yep. And that makes it so that people of lower income who don't come from money can't do it, because I couldn't afford to do a fucking unpaid internship at the programs I wanted to work at, right? Yeah. But I could go work at a nonprofit and get paid to do the same type of work and get the office experience I needed. Yeah. So it was a gateway. And that's what a lot of people use it for. Also, people get, before Biden just did all that relief for college.
Student loan debt forgiveness.
There's a lot of people that if you work at a nonprofit, you can get your student loans waived. Yeah. So there are obviously pros.
But also, at the same time, those student loan waivers wouldn't need to happen if we just fixed student loans. Like, it becomes one of those ones.
It is.
It's insane. Complicated. No, it's complicated.
Crazy.
It's complicated.
And I'm not here to provide solutions. No. I just was trying to tell you that I was on a lot of NyQuil, and I was mad at the Goodwill about a Mossimo t-shirt, and I started deep diving into it. And guess what else I found? This last little bit of information I have is horrifying and terrible. And I listen, if you have triggers around death, maybe this last part. What? Okay, so this is the thing. So I said the disabled people are being underpaid, less than minimum wage. Also, Goodwill has an incredibly horrible issue with safety for disabled workers. In 2008, a 27-year-old developmentally disabled worker was killed. He was crushed to death by a trash compactor.
Oh my God.
And when they were ordered by to pay $50,000 in fines, but their Goodwill lawyers argued it down to $13,000. So they didn't even pay the full amount. But then I was like, wait, what? And then I kept looking. There are so many of them. In 2014, a 69-year-old man named Chuck Lee was crushed to death by a forklift. In 2017, a man named Abraham Garza also was, I don't even want to describe it, but he was also killed while working, and he was disabled as well. And so, like, they just keep having these issues, and OSHA has been, chastising them and fighting with them for years, and they just don't listen. And so it's just like, one of the other things was that this guy, Dave Goody, was a whistleblower, and he had kept warning management about the dangerous conditions verbally and in writing, and he also reported them to OSHA and the state's workplace safety agency. And he actually got fired when this guy died, because he said, I told you that this was going to happen. I told you this was dangerous, because he didn't get the proper training, because apparently the training they received to run these forklifts and these trash compactors is like a 30-minute online training that then they have to take a test, but it's an unfailable test. Like, you can't fail it. Oh. So it's like they're not getting this proper safety protocol.
They're not getting certifications.
And anytime people have like whistleblowed about it, they blame the whistleblower. So like when this one guy, Abraham Garza, died, Goodwill blamed Dave, and the whistleblower guy was like, it's his fault, blah, blah, blah. And then Dave ended up suing them. It was a whole thing.
Did he win?
Yeah.
He won.
Yeah.
Hey.
But so.
And did they pay him $7.25
an hour? Yeah, $7.25 an hour. Also, here's the last most frustrating part. So I had said that the money that they make at the stores goes to funding Goodwill, right? But that's not entirely true. The money they make at the stores goes primarily to pay administrative costs. Okay?
Okay.
Because the programs they run, the schools, the employer places, like the places to help people get employment, all those like programs that they run, statistically, most of them are funded by government grants or private grants. So their development team, their grant writing team, writes grants for government funding or private funding to pay for these schools or employment programs or retraining programs, and that's all being funded.
I fucking love. I love the nonprofit industrial complex that convinces us that this is from the benefits of rich people or people handing out money, only to find out that it's a giant con wash to just steal more tax money from other locations. Like, we could just be giving. We could, hear me out.
Yeah.
We could just take the money that is being put in these grants and not give it to Goodwill.
Yeah.
And just give it directly to poor people. It's like with PPP loans.
Yeah.
When COVID hit. And at one point, the Treasury Department wanted to just cut a check to every American during COVID and wanted to just give all of us blanket money and be like, here's money, don't die.
Yeah.
Here's money, stay home. And the government was like, no. Absolutely not. Like, the actual Congress and the Trump administration was like, don't just give it directly to, are you fucking stupid? Give it to the business owners and rich people. Give it to them.
Yeah.
And then have them hand it out to their employees.
Smart.
Based on their existing salaries.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And at that point in time, I was working at a place where we actually were part of the handouts for PPP because it was done then through private banks. Yeah. Private banks had to underwrite these things through a portal quickly through the Small Business Administration, which the CEO of Goodwill used to run.
Steve, right? I think his name was Steve.
Yeah. So this all happened. And so what would happen is you would have these people who'd come in and they would write. And what was always very funny is normal people did not want to take too much advantage. They just wanted to get, hey, I heard it's for like this is to cover 1/4 of payroll or whatever. Yeah. But you would get these guys who are like a consultant who's a lawyer. He's like, well, my business has one employee and it's me. And that employee gets paid $300,000 a year. Yep. And they're going to be like, all right, well, we're going to cover the salary of your one employee, which is you. Yep. Here's $250,000 to cover 3/4 of your year. It was just like, and I would just sit there and look at it, just like, we are fucked. And then they're like, yeah, but we can't do student loan debt. What about medical? No, we can't do medical. What about no,
we can't do that.
It's just incredible.
You know who got a PPP loan? Brittany Dawn.
Of course she did. Because I bet if we went through these Goodwills, I bet the Goodwills they went crazy with the PPP. They probably went crazy with the PPP. Yeah. And my favorite thing was during that entire thing was the fact that I was a essential worker. Yeah. You had to keep going in the office. I was like they're like, yeah, you still got to come in. I'm like, what? Like, you got to look at these tax returns. And I was like, I'm going to. You have to make sure that you're in office, putting yourself and me at risk. Yeah. So that these guys could scam the PPP loans. Yeah. And again, allegedly. Not everyone would. No, most of the ones we looked at were not scams. Yeah. There were huge organizations though. I did print off at one point a report I had here somewhere about when they looked into the PPP scams. And we're talking about billions of dollars. A lot of them have been clawed back. Yeah. But like it was getting to a point once people started to figure out that a lot of them were using AI underwriters. Again, not where I was working. Yeah. We had actual human eyes on it. But a lot of the bigger institutions were just pushing them through. And like some of the images they showed, like guys were using fake IDs with like Barbie doll heads. I know. It was so crazy. I love that story. And they were just like, oh, we'd go right through. And they were like, what? It applied. It cleared. It worked. What are we going to do? To the point where like some guys were like, listen, we're not pushing rock anymore. Yeah. We're doing this PPP. It was nuts. And again, this is major banks in New York and LA. But yeah, we just need to do mutual aid and help each other. Yeah. Get outside. Yeah. It's the Get Outside crew. Yeah. It is. This is you wanted to say this about coming up. Say what? About getting outside. Oh, well, I was saying that yesterday we were talking about the podcast and I was like, I just want to help people get outside because I feel like with what's going on with Meta, with everything that's going to happen with Zucky, and then with TikTok being banned, people are going to feel like really isolated because their social media platforms are going to become almost unusable. Yeah, and flooded with psychos. And AI. And so I was like, it's about to be Get Outside 2025, where we have to like get outside, do stuff that is engaging with the community in a way that maybe you haven't. I'm going to a step further. Congregate in groups. Yeah. is kind of, and like in person.
Yeah.
It's about like getting outside doesn't just mean being out and touching grass. It means actually like going to orgs.
Well, yeah, like what I was thinking of when I was talking to you about like this episode being about the like nonprofits and volunteer stuff, because again, this is always like in top of mind. Like right now, like I've been doing research on like what we're gonna do for Martin Luther King Day, because like historically it's a day of volunteer work
and service.
So, you know, what are we gonna do? Where are we going? And so I've been doing research about what's going on locally, and like I think that's it. I think it's like if you have the capacity, if you are able, like this is a great time to start researching maybe what's happening in your local area for Martin Luther King Day's Day of Service, and like getting out with the community, because like this what this whole thing proves is that like certain people that are allegedly helping aren't really
they aren't
helping.
doing shit.
They aren't helping, and like we're all going to get social media is going to be a little weird. And so, of course, the podcast, obviously the Smart Podcast is going to help you feel like you're having a good time. But also, like, getting out in community and being of service to the community is helpful.
And places where you can find that are your local library.
Yeah. Oh, I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Is one of the things is I looked up.
Because, like, your local library will have a board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you reading my mind right now?
I know.
No, you're reading my mind, because I literally just looked up when the next board meeting is for our local library.
Yeah.
Because I'm really
Oh,
concerned.
no. I'm not even talking about that board. I'm talking about at libraries. Sometimes there'll be a community board, like an actual pen cork board.
Oh, yeah, with all the stuff to do.
Also, coffee shops sometimes will have
Also,
those.
our library has a board game night where you can go play board games with people.
Board game night. But also, speaking of boards, they will also sometimes have message boards, or they'll have a post board on their main website that you can go to.
Yep.
Again, because also, you know, another thing for 2025, a little bit of resolution, we're trying to look more at websites and not at social media.
Yeah.
Going back to actually going directly to the website and not their Facebook or their Instagram or their Twitter or any of those things. Yeah. And honestly, on a lot of web hosts out there, for some people out there who maybe run the social media, or they run, you know, are in their organization, and like, oh, well, we updated that on Twitter. Be like, hey, just so you know, a lot of people left Twitter. Yeah. So and then talk to your people and be like, hey, why are we constantly chasing social media to social media instead of just using the website we have and then just putting posts on social media telling people to go to our fucking website. Yeah. And getting people used to going back to our website.
Go back to the website.
Because I'm going to tell you something right now. If I had a problem with like the bank, I'm not going to the bank's Twitter.
No, I'm not going to the bank's Facebook page.
No, you know where I'm going to go? I'm going to go to the bank, or I'm going to go to the fucking online banking portal and hitting customer service messages.
Wait, I forgot to fucking talk about that because I didn't even put it down. But one of the biggest investments Goodwill's done in the last 5 years is on their online portal.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, because they basically run an eBay now.
Yeah, they used to just use eBay, but then they built out their own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what they do is they pick through all the best stuff at Goodwill and they put it online.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
and it's auction style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I remember that because that, and again, that was what drove me crazy with the thrift shop song, because when I saw it starting to happen, it drove me nuts, because I was sitting there looking and I was like, no, because one of the things that were great, that is great about thrifting in general, or any of this type of stuff, is like finding that fucking golden egg, baby.
Yeah.
You come around the corner and you're like, is that? Hold on. What? They have a fucking like a PS1 game. Is that Chrono Trigger?
Yeah. Are those
for
Michael
NES?
Kors boots?
Like, oh my God. And now they're
Not
like,
anymore. They're online.
yeah, now we found them and we've hidden them.
Yeah.
We put it behind a portal.
Yep.
And it's probably algorithmically or AI priced and like all this different stuff. But meanwhile, the blind person who picked it from the garbage pile is only being paid $3 an hour.
Yeah. Well, $2.75. And
whoa.
No, what I was saying about the board was that I was looking up when the board of directors meets.
Oh, the library board.
Yeah, the library board.
Yes.
Because I want to start going to the meetings because they're public.
Yeah.
I want to keep an eye on this.
Yeah.
Because libraries are deeply under attack right now, and I want to make sure I know what's going the fuck on in my library.
Not only libraries, but also
I'm going to be so busy on 2025. Once I'm better, once my voice doesn't sound like this, and I'm sorry you've been listening to this whole episode and my voice sounds like this, but listen, this year, I'm going and doing shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to be outside.
Yeah.
Baby on hip, yelling at people at board meetings. Yelling at people at community meetings, city council meetings. I'm there.
And at the same exact time, we're all...
Because I said at the beginning, I'm staying fighting.
Yeah. And before we go through to our Patreons, before we close out this episode...
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I just also want to remind everybody to just support Wikipedia. Just because Wikipedia is under attack. And we'll talk about
We personally support Wikipedia because we utilize Wikipedia. All of our episodes always start at Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what my idea is, I'm like, all right, let me pull up their wiki page.
Yeah.
And then I work from there. Like, even Goodwill, I was like, okay, Goodwill. And the first thing I noticed is that it was called Goodwill Industries. And I was like, why is it called Industries?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I can't tell you how often where I've gone to Wikipedia and then I've been like, oh yeah, this company or whatever. And then I've gone to like the right side where they have a little column with like the baseline summary. Yeah. And I'm like, what's that guy's name? And I just start clicking. And before I know it, I'm like, all right, babe, the moon is Nazis. And you're like, what? I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll be back. And then
the same thing. I'm like, oh my God. Wait, I literally was just mad about this Mossimo shirt from before I was sick.
Yeah.
I got mad about something. And then I was like, just sitting there clicking. And I was like, wait a minute. He makes how much? Because the first thing, I got mad at that they used to fix the stuff. I was like, they used to fix it. They don't even plug in the lamps to make sure they work anymore.
Yeah, you could buy a broken lamp. It.
And then I got to the fucking CEO, and I was like, wait a minute, the CEO? And then I was like, well, who's the board? And then I saw the board was. And then now I'm here, and I'm pissed off. But the thing is, at the end of the day, I'm still not going to say don't shop at Goodwill because people need to shop at Goodwill. It is still a low-cost place to get things that you might need in your household. Yeah. And like, I'm still gonna go to Goodwill. Like, I love going there for like tablecloths and curtains and things like that I can use the sewing machine to fix.
What we need to do, and hopefully, who knows, I don't know, is to lobby the government to change things like this 14C and to raise the minimum wage and to change the rules around nonprofits. Yeah. And to change the rules about administrative fees, and to change these other things. That is where the energy needs to be put.
That's why I'm starting a nonprofit with the main mission to end all other nonprofits. It's called the nonprofit to end nonprofits.
And with that,
that's a joke.
Yeah,
that's a joke.
It's a joke from a very funny show. I can't remember what show that was. There was one of those that popped up where she's like, my nonprofit mission.
It was the lady's dying wish. She had made a video.
I know. I remember.
She donated all of the family's money to a trust to end
nonprofits.
Oh my God, so funny.
But with that, we're gonna hit this a little
space. We're
space
shout outs, baby.
And we're gonna bring back the shout outs. I think we got about 30 people who've been waiting about 30 days to hear their names.
And you're gonna hear them in the best voice I've ever had.
In the best and the deepest, and there's gonna be so many.
From the best episode, right? You said this was the best.
This
episode.
Was honestly, I want to say
it was chaotic.
It was definitely chaotic, and this episode definitely had a lot of goodwill.
Whoa.
Pearlmania, 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 Pearlmania.
500.net. We are back here for another fun time. Mrs. P dying in the background.
Sorry,
and no, it's fine. It's fine. They know
I got the chicky pox in my mouth and my throat.
Yeah, but they're almost gone though. We're getting close. Honestly, this episode has helped you get a lot out.
That's true.
Yeah. If you think about it.
Emotionally, physically, spiritually.
Yeah, a lot of it. But let's go down this list here. Okay. I went through. Thank you for everybody who reached out. And if anybody, remember, just a reminder to everybody, if you have been in prior Patreon and you've left and come back, your name will not show up in our list. It only tells us that this benefit once. So we always look out for those. So if we've ever missed you, always please send out a message. All right, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Our first one we have here is Dominic Pescasolido.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Lee Shea.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have I_finally_caught_up.
Hell yeah, dude. That probably took forever.
That probably did take forever. And we are going to look into how to, as we said, we're going to think about resurfacing and all these other different things on how to do future episodes and bring back some old ones. After that, we have Maxime Bayol.
Hey, hun.
After that, we have Guy living on a boat down by the Hudson River.
All right, dude. Hey, hun.
No, I got to do that right. I was like, Guy living on a boat down by the Hudson River. After that, we have Lucia Clayton.
Hey, hun.
After that, we have Ash.
Ash. Hey, hun.
After that, we have Lil Queen. Hold on. After that, we have Lil Queen Trash Mouth.
Nice. That's from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, I know. You love that one.
Yeah.
After that, we have Jasmine Elizabeth Dissociating Daily.
Same, babe.
Aren't we all?
Same.
God damn.
Hey, hun.
There's sometimes where I just look out and I just stare.
Yeah. And I'm like, get back here. Help me change this poopy diaper.
After that, we have please_do_n_ep_on_the_goodnight_moon_heart. author.
All right, I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah,
I hate that book.
You hate that, but
I
we
fucking
have
hate
like 3 copies
I
of
know,
it.
'cause everybody bought it for us at the baby shower.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this book is dumb.
You hate? I don't
Why
know
is he
why.
saying goodnight to a bowl of mush?
Because it's there.
Yeah, he's sitting in a room in the dark, and he's like, good night, bowl of mush. Good night, old lady. Good night,
Okay.
mittens. Like, what? What kind of book is this?
Well, you know what? Write it down. Maybe you should. Here you go. I'm gonna give you a little card.
Okay.
Write it down.
All right, I'll write it down.
And then once you do that, and then you'll look into it, and then maybe it'll be an episode. After that, we have irrelevant username _ TikTok ban equals control, not data privacy.
Facts. If they wanted to fix our data privacy, they would
fix it.
they'd fix data privacy across the board, across Facebook, across Twitter.
Yep.
Data privacy across the board, but they're not doing that.
And on our most recent warm-up episode, we talked all about Facebook and Meta and how they just bent the knee and everything
And
else.
how cool Zuck is.
And-
He's the coolest.
And all of you here in the shout-outs, you know.
We've
because-
always been saying Zuck's the coolest.
No, we don't have to say Zuck's the coolest. We don't have to ever worry about him. After that, we have Brazilian overlords.
Hey, hun.
After that, we have hair _4 _regular _stepping _lore _dumps _from _duh _lord _dump _gods.
Nice. Here for the regular dumping of this lore, baby.
Yeah, because we're the Lord Dump Gods, baby.
Let's go.
After that, we have Tracy Mogan Calum.
Hey, I thought that said Tracy Morgan.
I
was like, tummy slaps.
Yep. After that, we have London Reigns.
Hey, hun.
After that, we have Holly S.
Hey, hun.
After that, we have okay. All right. You fucker. All right. Is Barbera on the Boulevard the best? _A day all right.
Hey, they all right.
A day all right.
Oh, boy, I guess.
Is Barbera on the Boulevard the best? Boy, I guess.
That-
That's
for
how the radio
listeners,
goes. That's a Philadelphia car dealership.
Locally, that's a Philadelphia car dealership that
Yeah.
has a pretty significant amount of radio play.
A lot. And and they sell, I think, Hondas.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't remember. There's
They're-
Gary Barbera.
I grew up in that area
Yes.
where the Barberas is. And next, across the way from it, on the boulevard, was a Lucille Roberts that I went to in high school. Do you remember what Lucy Roberts was?
No.
It was like a gym, like Planet Fitness or whatever, but it was for women only.
Oh, like Curves.
Yes.
Okay.
It was a women's only. It was a Lucille Roberts.
I started my comedy career down the street from the Gary Barbera dealership on the Boulevard.
Wait, nuh-uh, that's way far down.
Yeah, it's still on that Boulevard.
Oh, it's still on the boulevard.
Yeah, I mean, for a listener who's listening in like
Oh, yeah,
fucking
you're right.
Singapore,
Yeah.
it's down the street.
It's down the street. You're
Okay.
right. Okay.
All right. It was
Okay.
Northeast Comedy Cabaret down by Nabisco Lane.
Next to the roller skating rink.
Yeah. Well, I think all of that's gone.
Yeah.
Up next, Sam.
Hey, hun.
After that, we have Allison H.
Hey, Allison.
After that, we have watching gay porn with your friends isn't gay, it's bonding.
That's facts.
I'll give it.
That's facts.
Honestly, I'll give it to you.
Yeah. Whoa,
I'll
whoa,
give it to you.
whoa. Next.
What are we talking about?
Next name.
After that, we have _mad _4 _you
Oh,
_
nice. That's like a little Valentine, like a little paper Valentine.
Oh, no, I was thinking more like the chalky little Valentine.
Oh, yeah. Yum, 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 yum.
I like those.
Those
Are
are
those gluten free?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So you can get me some.
I won't. Okay. All right. So I am gonna go with this one because it's it's a bunch of words put together. It could be sensei. I don't think it is. I think it is sense is limb.
Sensa Slim?
Or maybe sensei slim.
Sensei Slim? I don't know.
Like like Japanese sensei.
I
don't know.
Hey, hun.
I'm gonna go with sense is limb.
Well, thanks.
After that, we have sit and stitch.
Sit and Stitch.
Yep.
Like
After
that.
that, we have rar goes rosh.
That's pretty good.
Or
Hey, hun.
rar goes rach.
Rach.
It's probably rach.
Like Rachel.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
probably
hun.
rach. After that, we have George or Binks _ for Mrs. P Book Club.
Nice.
Not Jar Jar, George or.
George Binks.
George or Binks.
Hey, hun.
After that, we have annoyed _ in the void.
I love that.
After that, we have Emmy Doodle.
Emmy Doodle.
That's pretty good. After that, we have for my birthday, I changed my mind and I want to know if you like my art.
Okay.
Yeah, and they reached out. They sent us an email a while ago. I think it got missed. I told them to resend it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We'll look.
We've been dying, but we'll go back and look.
After that, we have the 6th sick, sheik's 6th, sheep sick _ pad, kid poured curd pud cod.
I love that they did that to you.
That was a nightmare.
Alliteration.
Yeah.
Alliteration.
And finally,
Okay.
we have My cancer is in remission. Madison Russo can eat my ass.
Yo, let's fucking go. Cancer who, bitch? Cancer what? I don't know her. Fuck that cancer.
Yep.
Remission all day.
Who's Madison Russo?
Like I said, remember she's the one that faked cancer. She had the fake cancer tumor, remember?
Oh, that's
that was like
such
first
an
season,
old episode.
First season shit, man.
Oh, that's such an old episode.
Yeah. Remember I said this year we're fighting?
Listen,
fighting fucking cancer and winning, baby.
Yo, good job
Let's
for you.
go, dude.
Honestly, thank you for showing us that there is hope out there in this world.
We need it.
We all need it.
Yeah.
Desperately.
Facts.
We're right here. And you guys have been here too. We've all been here.
Thanks
We're all
for
here
listening,
together.
guys.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate all
Yeah.
of you. And we also
We hope we brought some joy to your day.
we really did. We really do hope we did. And I hope that all of you continue to
I'm
have.
sorry if I made you mad at the Goodwill.
No, listen.
It's not my fault Goodwill's weird and full of fucking...
It's not your fault they're weird, but it's your fault that we now know.
Yeah, that's true. I take responsibility for that.
I'm going to tell you this right now.
What?
I blame the messenger. But don't blame Too Many Tabs, where you guys get all of your fun tee-hee-hees and ta-ha-has. Oh, you wanted to say something to close the episode. Remember what we want them to say in the comments. That's all part of our other New Year's resolution. Sticking with that, because the last one we said, I just hope you guys are doing good or whatever it was.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
It was so funny because I forgot we
both
did it.
Really forgot.
And then we just started getting these notifications and be like, I
hope you're okay.
I hope
We
you're
were
okay.
like,
And we're like,
whoa, what did we do?
What happened? What did I miss? I was like,
Oh, no.
who else lost? So it caught me off guard.
Let's see. I mean, like, what word summarizes this episode? Right? Like, is it Halliburton?
No, I got it. Raise the minimum wage. I want you guys to write in the comments.
Yeah.
Raise the minimum wage.
Yeah.
See you guys next week.
Too many frauds and too many scammers that we wish weren't real. Too many cons and too many spammers, and we're starting to feel like we've got too many tabs open. It's too many tabs. Remember to smile.